Covino and Rich, Overpromised, presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code Overpromised, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Oh, yeah. What is going on, everybody? Another Overpromised. Rich Davis, Steve Covino. Love hanging with you guys.
Welcome to our bonus pod, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm Steve Covino. That is Rich Davis. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho,
Oh,
ho.
yeah. And thank you guys for hanging out with us Monday through Friday on Fox Sports Radio, 2 to 4 on the West. We'll be filling in for Dan Patrick Christmas week.
Correct.
Yeah, but thank you guys for being here, doing 2 Overpromised per week now. Thanks for checking us out. We're going to talk about your sneaker game, Rich. You don't have any, so take some notes. No. But your sneaker game, here's the bad boys I'm rocking today.
All right.
Oh, yeah, sneaker game. There's a story that involves Travis Scott and John McEnroe.
Two people I like.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Plus, I'll be honest, it's like a weak Thursday night game, but I think I got a pick that's going to win us some money. So we'll go over some picks for Thursday night and one prop bet you're not going to want to miss. But hold on, before we get into our first conversation, I forgot I have to send the DeVito family some panettone for the holidays. Oh,
Panettone, don't forget about.
what a story, huh? What a freaking story Tommy DeVito has become.
You want to go over all the headlines before we pose the hard-hitting question?
Please do.
Well, again, Tommy DeVito, a blessing or a curse for the New York Football Giants? We'll explain. But as of today, the NFC Player of the Week, 158 yards, 71 rushing yards, 1 tutty. He's balling out there, looking like the man. Player of the Week, dude. That's awesome.
His agent of the week, right?
Agent of the Week, Sean Stiletto. People are like, is this guy for real? That was definitely a major headline during the game.
Does he own that strip club Stilettos in New Jersey?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh.
I think his nickname is either Slimmy or Slimy. I don't know. Either one works for this guy. But people are like, is this guy real? And he's like, he's good for business. Oh, that's another storyline, his agent. Then, of course, the nickname is taken off, Tommy Cutlets, right?
I'm telling you, we said it the other day. We'd be shocked if there weren't chicken cutlet pop-up stores around the tri-state area back east.
But there's a side story where Dayball never had Tommy's Cutlets before. So people are like, he's got to have the Cutlets. Cutlets are sweeping the nation. So that's another storyline. And then everything Tommy does this week turns to gold, right? So he struts in with this fuzzy fuchsia jacket.
He strut in like Conor McGregor the way you're doing it?
Yeah, he's like, hey, what's up, Tommy? How you doing? I do. And people are like, yo, where do I get that? Look how he pulls it off. Not only did he pull off a nice victory, he pulled off that jacket.
Well, here's the question we got to pose.
Hold on, I have one more storyline. You know, all the families in the tri-state area are freaking out about this, and they're bringing food to the family. Like, thank you.
Made a tray of lasagna.
It's a holiday blessing. Yeah, it's a holiday miracle. They're bringing food to the family. It's out of control, dude, but it's such a great story.
Now, the question really is Tommy DeVito, it might seem great now. What a little blessing and what a nice little storyline for the NFL, right? Tommy DeVito, Italian dude from Jersey, starting for the Giants. Everything about it seems really fun.
Really fun, really relatable. And there's something really genuine about it. We grew up in the tri-state area, so we know this kid could be your neighbor. This could be a kid you went to high school with. Tommy DeVito, he would have been in my homeroom. Covino, DeVito, let's go.
Present.
Yeah, so it's a fun story. Again, the underdog, Rocky Balboa sort of vibe. No one expected this from the kid.
But I got to ask the real question, though. Is Tommy DeVito secretly the worst thing that has happened to the New York Giants? Because sometimes what seems like a good thing could be putting you in a real shitty dilemma. Now, you're not one for hypotheticals.
I'm not. I like to turn dilemmas into dilemonade.
But I'm not talking when you have a wife and kids. But when we were single, you and I, we were dating random girls, we'd go out to like a party or an event, and you would always say to me, hey, what would you do if you met the one tonight? Like, what do you mean the one? You go, yeah, I know you're dating someone, but what if tonight it just so happens you meet an angel?
Well, you never know. You could walk into anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Meet someone that changes your life. Like, wait a second. Changes your whole perspective. Dreamweaver, I believe you can get me through the night. Some girl was like, whoa, I thought I was good, and then I met this person, and messes up your whole vibe.
Now listen, the Giants just gave Daniel Jones, you call him Dr. Jones, $40 million a year. Now what happens in the relationship, hypothetical, we just said, Tommy DeVito is sort of pointing out what Daniel Jones is not.
Right.
And I think a lot of times in relationships, work, sports, a backup, your replacement at the office, a new girl or guy in a dating situation, the new person sometimes really accentuates what the other person's lacking. And Daniel Jones is sort of boring and a little lackluster and doesn't really own the fan base the way Tommy DeVito has over a month.
Not only the fan base, here's what I noticed the most, is that Tommy DeVito not only won over the fan base, made the Giants exciting, but the team plays different behind him. I think that says the most. It's the same people that were playing with Jones. They weren't playing the way they're playing now. And look at the record. It speaks for itself. 3-1 with Tommy Cutlets. 1-5 with boring-ass Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones, don't get it twisted, has all the potential in the world. The dude has a good arm. He could run. You know, he has again some good accuracy at times, but they don't play that way behind him. He didn't have enough time to pass for some reason, or it seemed that way. Tommy DeVito's making it happen.
Let it be clear. You got to really dive into the schedule to be like, well, who did they play?
True.
Why did the schedule make it look like the Giants stunk with Jones and now they got a little life on the DeVito? Here's the point. You point out everything that Jones is not, but money is usually such a key factor, not only in the NFL, but any sport, when you're looking about the idea of replacing someone. And I thought it was preposterous. And you said, you think I'm crazy? Other people are talking about it in the sports world. Is there a little minuscule chance that Tommy DeVito makes the Giants double think their Daniel Jones decision?
Absolutely. You got to, if he continues, by the way, if he continues balling this way and his story continues to grow, you cut your losses with Jones and you gain in actual wins for the Giants.
What makes the 49ers, in your opinion, so valuable in the moment? The fact that they're winning with paying Brock Purdy so little. But
again, I'm glad you brought up Brock Purdy too, because it does show you it doesn't have to be a fluke. We don't know that yet, right? This could be just fun in the moment, and we could all be prisoners of the moment. But if he continues, hey, Brock Purdy did it. It's not impossible to be a guy that was overlooked and play with house money, nothing to lose, less pressure, and therefore you're succeeding, and you got everyone else behind you. It's a good problem to have, because having options could seem dreadful, but having none is worse.
Now, that's true, right? Let it be known, no one's throwing away money. $82 million is guaranteed to Daniel Jones. And right now, Tommy DeVito's on a 3-year deal, making less than $1 million a season. So what a great backup. What a great story. But
what happens if he is the backup and he never really stinks it up? They go with Jones.
Everyone's calling for Cutlets.
Exactly. Right. That puts extra pressure on Jones. So, hey, we'll cross that bridge when it happens, but I think you got to go with the hot hand.
He also has to play the Eagles 2 more times this season. So let's have Tommy DeVito have some true defensive competition.
However, I think the story continues, because week 15 they play the Saints, and I think they can compete with the Saints. We'll see. So, Tommy DeVito.
Let's talk about Thursday night. DraftKings Sportsbook. Let me give you a teaser bet and a player prop. Now, I'll be honest. There are times where I look at a game and I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to touch this. And this is sort of one of them, but just for the fun of it, for the hell of it, for the smell of it. It's the holiday season. So why not make a bet, right? DraftKings Sportsbook, our code Overpromised. Now, it's a Thursday night game, and everywhere you're looking, you're like, who has the edge here? You're talking about a backup quarterback, Easton, for the Chargers, Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. So not even a true starter. 2 teams that are 5-8 that have both under-delivered. The Raiders, for a minute, you thought they might have a chance. No, they're done. Antonio Pierce, that was a nice little moment. That's over. Staley still has a job in Los Angeles with the Chargers. This is a garbage game, but it's Raiders by 3. So what I sort of like is the Chargers +9. The Chargers, I'm not saying they're going to win, but this might be some bullshit close game. And I like under 40.5. Do you know the Raiders' 3-0 loss last week was the first time in 16 years a game was 3-0? And
can you imagine taking your family to that game?
look at it this
How
way.
bad would you feel?
do
You
think-
try to do something nice, man. I'm so sorry, guys.
Is that team going to blow it up offensively this week? My answer is probably not. And the Chargers haven't scored more than 20 in weeks. So I look at it and say under 40.5, lock it in. So the teaser, +9, under 40.5. Again, a game that you'll watch because you love football, but I'm not sure if I necessarily would have bet on this just for that. I mean, let's do it, right? +9, under 40.5. I do like this one player prop, though. Austin Eckler, when you're dealing with a lot of unproven people, who do you lean on? Veterans and star players.
Yes.
And Austin Eckler is the guy that when he's hot, he could go off. And the over-under on his rushing yards, 46.5. I like Austin Eckler over 46.5 rushing yards because you might pass the ball a little less with an unproven quarterback. You don't have Justin Herbert. You have Easton, right? Easton sticks. So it's like you got this dude. I think you're going to rely on the run game a little more. And the Raiders are sort of middle to the bottom of the pack when it comes to rush defense. So if you don't think Austin Eckler could put up a 50 spot, I don't know. I like that as a prop.
The last time Easton delivered was when I was hitting Little League home runs. The big barrel, bro. The black magic. That was the last time. I believe this guy.
All right, so lock it in. DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, can you believe we're this deep into the NFL season, headed into Week 15? We got to make every second count. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you can make the most out of every game. Bet on your favorite team for a shot at winning big bucks. New customers could score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on any matchup.
Get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app now. Use code OVERPROMISED. New customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on the NFL. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code OVERPROMISED. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
And by the way, that game is in Vegas. Oh, but
Hey.
I mean, if they were playing in Los Angeles, wouldn't that be a Raiders home field anyway?
Yes.
I mean, so I don't know. I like getting the points. I'm trying to convince myself that this is a bet to make. I don't know. What's your instinct?
Feels that way. Feels like you're trying to convince yourself. Convince everybody else.
No, I'm saying, listen, bet at your own risk. Don't take my.
It's been a very unpredictable season.
Listen, the last couple of weeks, I'll be truthful. I've been a little cold. Before that, I was so hot. I was like Hansel from Zoolander.
Yeah,
you go through hot and cold gambling streaks.
It's been that type of year.
Like if you could have predicted last week that the Jets would put a whooping on the Houston Texans.
And that Zach Wilson would be the AFC Player of the Week?
Yeah, this is all unpredictable shit no one saw coming.
Not at all.
But I do like the under, and I also like the Eckler prop bet. So lock those in.
Well, speaking of, do you like the Nike Cactus Max? Do you know what they are?
Also, aren't they the Cactus Jacks?
Oh, that depends on whose side you're on. There's a little controversy, or is there, going on? This is all about mutual respect. And I think everybody can relate to this story. Like if there's an older guy at the office, some new young hotshot comes in, should the young hotshot be respecting the old veteran, or should the old veteran be open to the suggestions and ideas of the young hotshot, right?
Did you watch that movie on Netflix, Old Dads with Bill Burr? Bobby Cannavale?
I did.
You remember they built their company, and then they sold it to a young hotshot, and the young hotshot's like, yeah, you guys, we don't really need you anymore. Like we're, we got the new vision of this company. And they're like, yeah, but we built this company. Yeah, you built it 30 years ago.
That's where people butt heads.
Generationally.
And that's what's going on with Nike. Or is it just a big marketing ploy? Is it a big viral marketing thing? We'll explain. Because John McEnroe, who goes deep, the history goes deep in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
He was the bad boy of tennis, always getting into fights and everything. He wore Nikes early in his career. He has a tennis shoe. It's a tennis shoe called the Cactus Mac, right? Mm-hmm. But now Travis Scott, who's known for putting his little spin on Nikes, putting his little remixes, backwards swooshes onto the sneaker, he puts his remix on it, and all of a sudden it's hot, it's fire, everybody wants it, and that $200 sneaker becomes a $1,200 sneaker. So
Listen,
Nike says,
I don't know much about Travis Scott. I'll be honest, not my wheelhouse. But what I do know, just from being in the loop on shit, anything he touches is hot. He created a McDonald's value meal, like the Travis Scott meal. And I remember they're saying it's sold out. I'm like, sold out? So Travis Scott is a guy that has a lot of pull.
I wanted his Jordans for years. I'm still waiting for Fox Sports Radio to give me a raise so that I can afford them because that's how hot they are, right? So anyway, he puts his spin on the sneaker. Cactus Max. They put the backwards logo on it, and now it goes from like a $100 sneaker to like a $1,200 sneaker. But some leaked footage, quote unquote, leaked footage has surfaced of John McEnroe and Travis Scott fighting about, well, what's the shoe going to be called? And listen, I understand. John McEnroe saying, listen, I understand your brand is Cactus Jack. I get it. You're Cactus Jack.
But I'm Johnny Mac.
Call him Cactus Max. Give me a little respect here. I paved the way.
No, here's the fun. At first, much like everything on social media, you're like, ooh, is this real? And you're like, I think it's like a marketing tactic, which it likely is. But the reality is that whether it's real or fake, I'm leaning that this is staged a bit, but pretty cool to have Travis Scott and McEnroe joining forces. Just watch this for a second and tell me what you think.
God damn it, Travis. Jenny's right. Okay, let's have a bit of a compromise here. Her suggestion is to do a Cactus Mac thing for this one shoe instead of Cactus Jack, okay?
But John, like, I mean, somebody on here got to correct me wrong, but this is my first time even hearing about this. Like, Cactus Mac was never a thing. Like, somebody.
Come on, man. Show a little respect. This is my shoe.
I'm not really like feeling it. It's like something about it just feel a little off. It's like a burger.
So that's
he says it sounds like a hamburger.
Travis Scott and John McEnroe. Now, you gotta
there's
ask
been an
yourself.
update. High Snobriety, right, says that they're leaning that the videos are for advertising.
Yeah.
And they have announced that the sneaker is now called the Travis Scott X, the Nike Mac Attack by Cactus Jack. So the Nike Mac Attack by Cactus Jack. But here's the other controversy.
That's so wordy.
I know, right?
It's like the Anaheim Angels of California.
So John McEnroe is saying, hey, listen, I get it. Just put Cactus Mac. And they saw John McEnroe on the streets recently, and they're like, yo, but tell us about your fit and tell us about the controversy. And he took it upon himself, I think, to change things around.
Yeah.
Take a look and see what John McEnroe had to say about it.
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Yourself?
Fine. What's your name and where you from?
My name is John McEnroe, and I'm from New York City.
Okay, NYC is definitely in the house. Stop playing with them. Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, we see a fit. Describe it right quick.
My fit's pretty basic for the morning. I got a trench coat on, I got a pair of jeans.
Okay.
And I got my attacks on.
Woo! Okay. I saw the video. What's going on with you and Travis?
The thing is that I was wearing these things in the 80s, okay? Take a look at this now, though.
Damn! Okay.
Before this guy was born. Now all of a sudden Travis Scott's got this thing, Cactus Jack, so I just made it Cactus Mac. Come on.
Okay.
He wrote on in a Sharpie.
So yeah, I'll tell you what.
Some respect.
So now they're out.
Yeah.
And they say Cactus Jack on it. If I get them, if I make enough flow to get a pair of these, because Spot, have you seen Goat is selling them? Like, you got to get them on these crazy apps because they're sold out everywhere. Goat's selling them for like $1,200. If I get the Cactus Jacks, I'm going to scratch out the back and write Cactus Mac on it. Just like McEnroe did. But you see the side-by-side. The Macs, the regular ones, are on the left. The Travis Scott ones are on the right, and they just got a backwards swoosh and a little bit different, but not much different.
Is worth $1,000?
Yes. And that's only one side of it.
Well, you know what? Then my mind is made up. I like John McEnroe. I love his antics. As a little boy, my dad loved tennis in the 80s. I feel like a lot of our dads did. My dad rocked a little Jimmy Connor shorts and probably had the McEnroe sneakers.
Yeah.
But John McEnroe is a legend. Who buys sneakers and cares? Young people. This is a Travis Scott world that John McEnroe is being helped into. John McEnroe is not selling sneakers anymore.
Yeah, but John
who is?
McEnroe
Travis
paved
Scott.
the way. See, that's where the question lies. Whether or not this is just good viral marketing, it's like, well, shouldn't the older guy get respect at the office space, at the workplace? Just because you're old doesn't mean you're incapable of decisions. There has to be mutual respect.
The fact that they're incorporating him at all is
You're out of your mind.
It's a nice ode to McEnroe.
When's the last time Chuck Taylor did anything? But you're still rocking those.
Yeah, but
Michael Jordan hasn't played in years, and he still has a brand. The reason these were even a thing is because McEnroe wore them in the 80s, dude. So it's like you gotta. The fact that they didn't call them Cactus Max bothers me. It's a mutual respect, and I feel like so many times and too many times in today's world we discredit the older guy. And guess what? You're gonna be there too one day. How are you gonna feel when some young guy comes up and is like, "What do you know about old guy?"
Well,
that's what rubs me the wrong way in the story.
Who do I connect more with? Probably my childhood and John McEnroe. He was also in like Sandler movies. He's a character. We've interviewed John McEnroe.
He's been on the show.
Listen, I'm more of a McEnroe guy, but I would be a fool to say John McEnroe has.
You're more of a mac and cheese guy.
Yo, McEnroe has 0.0 pull in the sneakerhead world, and Travis Scott is one of the top influencers in that game. So the fact that they're even including McEnroe, I think, is respectful.
They're not doing him any favors, bro. He's a legend in his own right. The way you're saying it is really bothering me, and that's what bothers me about this whole story. John McEnroe is a legend. Know your history.
Influence in tennis, McEnroe, Travis Scott.
What does Travis Scott have to do with sneakers? Look, in reality, he's playing actual tennis in them. What is Travis Scott doing?
Look at that.
There we are. Look at me. Look at Mac. Look at that. Mac and cheese. Cheese, Mac, and Mac.
Oh, yeah, we look better now than back then.
I think we do. Now it was like 150 years ago. But again, it's about who gets the respect. Of course, mutual is the right answer.
Mutual respect.
But shouldn't John McEnroe get a little more respect if this is really the story? Think about it.
I think, you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember when Kanye West put Paul McCartney on one of his songs?
I do.
And there was a bunch of idiots saying, "Who's this old guy?" It's
I'm glad you said idiots.
It's Paul McCartney. He's an effing Beatle. But in the 20, whatever year that was, in the 20 teens, who had more musical influence? Kanye West. I'm not saying Paul McCartney's not more Mamethian than Kanye, but you got to remember who's popular in the moment. If John McEnroe came out with new sneakers tomorrow, no one would give a shit. If Travis Scott did, you'd be buying it for $1,200. You said it yourself.
And I just might, and I'm going to scratch that off and write Mac, just like McEnroe did.
Who's this Paul McCartney guy?
Yeah, that's BS. So anyway, what says you? Overpromised Nation, Fox Sports Radio Nation. Let us know at Covino and Rich, at Fox Sports Radio, hashtag Overpromised, hashtag Covino is right. Which ones are you buying?
All right, fair enough. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, thank you, DraftKings. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the Overpromised land. Nice catch, huh? Nice miss.